This commentary is brought to you by the new karaoke-style video game Sing 4 for the Nintendo Wii. Right now, the crew over at Sing 4 is running a contest on their YouTube channel where viewers can upload their own performances and win some pretty big prizes. Click on the annotation to check it out. Sing 4 is available November 2nd for the Nintendo Wii. Hey guys, what's going on? It's Lefty from 643 Productions coming at you here with a Battlefield 3 gameplay commentary here on Grand Bazaar, playing Rush on the map The Grand Bazaar. Or I think that's how you say it. I think you say bazaar. Well, I'm an American, so I'm going to say bazaar. Damn it, I don't care if there's some eloquent kind of Frenchy little way to say bazaar or something like that. I'm going to say bazaar. And I'm attacking. Yes, I'm attacking here because I have a few gameplays from this map. One when I'm defending, or a few when I'm defending, and this one from when I'm attacking. And I told myself, of course, when watching, when deciding what gameplays to use, or what gameplay to use, I told myself, okay, you got confused now. Don't get confused when you are recording. And of course, in true Lefty fashion, I forgot and got confused anyway. So I'm attacking on this map. It is a bit chopped up because the game itself was about 19 minutes long or something like that. Battlefield 3 games tend to run a lot longer than Call of Duty games on the whole. So I have to do a little editing. But I'm going to show you the high points, and you'll get to see the score at the end to know that I'm not trying to pull a fast one on you. But I do want to do, just real quick, be on the lookout. I want to do a tutorial on this map on how to keep an overwatch on the spawns when sniping in Rush on this map, because I think I got a decently good gameplay that illustrates some of the things that I think would bode well in terms of keeping an overwatch on the spawns and being able to fall back to positions yet and still have an advantage and have a sight line on the enemy that they aren't really expecting. And I think it would bode well for a lot of players, and I really don't see many people doing it. And so be on the lookout for a tutorial on that. It's going to be coming out here in a few days. But this is just a regular old gameplay commentary because I want to talk with you guys about something. I wanted to let the launch of Battlefield 3, and I'm talking about the entire launch as a whole. I wanted to let it sit there and fester for a little bit before I came out to speak on it publicly here on YouTube. But for those of you that were following me on Twitter on launch day and for the first few days after the launch of Battlefield 3, if you aren't already, it's at twitter.com. Oh, excuse me, twitter.com/lefty643, or you can just go to Twitter, type in @lefty643. You were privy to my thoughts and my general displeasure with how the game was behaving as a whole after launch, when a bunch of people got the game and when it started circulating. There were a few things that I was upset about. Now, I want to say, just to get it out there, so you can start mulling it over, I think the launch, viewed in total, the launch for Battlefield 3, for both EA and DICE, I think the launch has been embarrassing. There's only one word to describe the launch from the perspective of EA and developer DICE, and that is embarrassing. The launch of Battlefield 3 has been nothing but embarrassment for these companies, and they should feel embarrassed, and everybody associated with them and everybody that's trying to pimp out this game should be embarrassed. Now, you may be thinking, like, well, wait, Lefty, you did a commentary the day of launch saying, get this game. I want to draw a distinction really quick. You have the game. The game itself, in terms of the coding, how it works, how it plays, when you actually get the sticks in your hand and you get in a game, that is the game. The game, in and of itself, the game Battlefield 3 is one of the best I've ever played. And I encourage all of you to get it just as much now as I did on launch day when I uploaded that video saying, get this game. But what I'm talking about here is the launch. What I'm talking about here is the product. I want to make that distinction. The game, the coding, the way it plays, all that stuff, the game is amazing. The product, however, and the launch of said product has been embarrassing for those involved with it. Now, I've gotten some criticism from this. I've gotten a lot of response, actually, from my thoughts, especially on Twitter on launch day. I've gotten a lot of people affirming my beliefs in what I was saying about how it was embarrassing for EA and DICE and the developers and even the Fluff Twitter account. They should be embarrassed and apologetic to every gamer, console and PC alike, for how their game has launched and been received by the community. Now, aside from the positive feedback, I have gotten a few people saying, hey, this is what games do. This is what Call of Duty does. This is what games do, yada, yada, yada. Eric, a.k.a. Aviator, pointed this out to me, and I thank him very much for doing so because it brought the point again to the forefront of my mind. But here's my point, and this is why I say that the launch of Battlefield 3, the product, has been embarrassing for EA and DICE, that is. When you make a game and you juxtapose it against the pillar of the genre that your game is in, and we're talking here about Call of Duty, when Battlefield 3, when the heads at EA decided to pit Battlefield 3 directly against EA and really rush it out so it could beat Modern Warfare 3, the next Call of Duty title, to store shelves, when you do that, when you come out with advertising lines that's saying above and beyond the call, and when you have your EA and DICE executives taking pot shots at Call of Duty back and forth between Activision and Infinity Ward and Sledgehammer Games and all this stuff, when you're doing all that, you cannot have your game not playable when it comes out. For a few hours, for a handful of hours, and we're not talking minutes here, we're talking hours, on launch day and even the day after, there were 3 or 4 at least widespread complete server shutdowns. That is embarrassing. You cannot have your game, again, which is pitted against the pillar of the community, the mainstay, you cannot have your game do that. You cannot have your product act in that manner. Again, the game is a different entity. The game in and of itself works great, and I would recommend it to anybody. But in terms of the launch, the product was awful. And the product was embarrassing. And everybody that's associated with EA, DICE, and Battlefield 3 should be embarrassed. Because when you pump it up the way you have, think about it this way. If a game comes out, it has no name, you don't know what genre it's in, you've never heard of it before, you've never played it, and then you ask somebody, it's like, well, how did it launch? They say, well, they had some server issues because there were so many people playing it, and it was down for about 5, 6, 7 hours total in the first 24 hours of launch, or first 36 hours of launch. You might say, oh, yeah, okay, that happens. But when you start adding the caveats of saying, oh, well, the developers and the executives behind this game started taking pot shots at the mainstay in the community or in the genre when they said it's better and it will beat Call of Duty, when they say, quote, this game is designed to take Call of Duty down, your perception changes, or at least it should. That the launch of Battlefield 3 as a product was unacceptable. Again, I reiterate, the game itself was great. I love the game. The product, however, and how it launched, embarrassing for both DICE and EA. But anyway, guys, that's my time. I got to get out of here. Thank you for joining. I hope you enjoyed. Be sure to drop a like on this video. Also, be sure to follow me on Twitter at twitter.com/lefty643. Thank you for joining. I hope you enjoyed. I'm out.